Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Screen Scene Guru, and tonight I'll be doing a movie review. This is for the 2025, directed by Danny Boyle, written by alexgarland, the 28 Years Later. Really interesting film, guys. This came out this year in the theaters. Not exactly sure what the Rotten Tomatoes score was for it, but I will look that up right now. Just going into it, some of the leading actors, we've got Aarontaylorjohnson, we've got Ralphfiennes and Jodiecomer on the cover right here. Thought it was a really interesting take on the zombie franchise. Let me pull it up real quick. IMDb. 28 years later. Okay. So it is an R-rated film, I should say. It does have some male nudity and female nudity in it for the zombies running around. So be cautious, be aware of that. It is an hour and 55 minutes, so about 2 hours. Like I said, it's directed by Danny Boyle, who did the original 28 Days Later. So a group of survivors of the rage virus live on a small island. When one of the groups leaves the island on a mission to the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but the other survivors. It's a very interesting setup for the movie. It says it's streaming on Netflix and on Prime Video. I, of course, bought the physical media because I'm a big fan of that. Diving into the special features, deleted scenes, stuff like that. I do want to talk about real quick the story for the movie, because the trailer was very misleading. It was showing off a father who was going on a hunting party with his son. And then when you see the actual movie, you see it's a bit different from that. That does happen. He does take his son out on this hunting party. But you see that the ways that Aaron Taylor Johnson treated his son was kind of interesting. Of course, their sick mother. I really liked Jodie Comer's performance in this. I thought she was a great actress. I did kind of wish that, Ralphfiennes had a bit more of a heroic role. He was kind of just playing a doctor that couldn't really help anyone. He was kind of stuck in his moralis, we all die, we must die kind of mentality, creating this, sort of ritualistic ruin ceremonial place that the child ends up discovering him. But let me go into some of the actors. So yeah, they said, let's see, we got the young boy Spike is played by Alfie Williams. So I thought Alfie Williams was really good in this. He's also going to be being in the next film, which comes out in January. 28 Years Later at the Bone Temple. And apparently Aaron Taylor Johnson is also going to be in that one. Really liked Rosie in it. I thought Rosie was pretty smoking, if you guys get that reference. Yeah, there's a big misdirect in the trailer, I'd say, because it kind of sets up that the dad is this heroic figure trying to save his son, when really in the movie, the dad puts the son in a lot of dangerous situations, setting up that he needs to be ready for all of this. But it also kind of, he doesn't really try to help the mother, who is obviously sick. She's dying. They don't have a doctor in their village. And when the boy hears about this doctor that lives out on the mainland, he of course wants to take the mother to the doctor to get her fixed. It ends very much in a depressing kind of way when he discovers the mother is sick, terminally ill, and this doctor is ritualistically, cleaning off these bones and just setting him here in this area, and he tells the child, Spike, to set his mother's skull in a very special spot. He ends up climbing up this huge mound to place it up top. There's a bit of a side story with alphas, new zombies that are more intelligent, stronger than regular zombies. We get to hear about how the UN has basically locked down Europe, locked down the UK. It's a quarantined area, but we know that apparently other countries have gotten a lockdown on these zombies, and that apparently the alphas now swim. They're turning over boats, doing different things. There's a pregnant zombie that gives birth to a non-infected, so that's very interesting stuff going on. Similar to 28 Weeks Later, so that's very interesting as well, with the people being asymptomatic, or they don't they're not actually infected with the virus, but they are A positive carriers. So I wonder how this is gonna go into the next film. I'm not exactly sure. I do know Ralph Fiennes is attached for this next one as well. I'm sorry, I gotta look into Rosie's work history. What was she? Amy Cameron. Okay. What has she been in? I gotta look. 28 Years Later. She was in Casualty. Looks like Vera, and then Concentration Street. So she's been in a couple of things. Trying to look right here. Feet the Force, Vera. So it's all like foreign TV stuff, which makes sense. But yeah, it looks like the biggest role she's been in is probably 28 Years Later. And yeah, very interesting that we got. If we go into the cast real quick. Let's see. I'm not seeing his name on here, but I do know that they got the guy from Sinners is the grown-up Jimmy. I believe his name's O'Brien or something like that. Let me look up real quick the cast on something other than IMDb, because IMDb is trash, for at least when it comes to cast. Okay, I got the cast pulled up, and we've got Danny Boyle, of course. So Jimmy Kaplan, JackO'Connell. Yeah, JackO'Connell, who is of course the infamous vampire in Sinners, made his way into this as the adult Jimmy, with this cult, of Teletubbies. Really interesting to see, how the cult will play into the sequel film, and how Spike will incorporate himself into maybe this group. I'm a big fan of JackO'Connell. I like his method of acting. Haven't seen a lot of his stuff besides this year's stuff, 28 Years Later, Sinners, but apparently he's been a big time actor for a long time. He does have a Instagram page you can follow him on. But yeah, really cool stuff from him. I also want to go into the Alpha Chi Lewis Perry, which I don't think they had prosthetic on him, guys. When he's running through the bus, big hammer swinging. That's one of the messages I heard about this movie. Actor and writer, known for 28 Years Later and The Bone Temple. Running Man 2025. Oh, and 28 years later. So yeah, he's been in a couple of things. Really cool. It says that he was also in The Woman Scorned, Craven the Hunter, Gladiator 2, Edge of Tomorrow. Really? Interesting. Chi Lewis Perry. I'm sure a lot of chicks looked him up after this movie to make sure he had a real member. But yeah, really interesting film. I liked it a lot. So that's my review for 28 Years Later. I'm excited to see the sequel in January. 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Hoping that Ralph Fiennes has more to do in that one. Maybe he helps someone. Obviously, he's not going to get too much of an Oscar from this role. Yeah, really cool. Let's see who else is in this. Okay, cool. One of the interesting, the Swedish actor Edvin Riding. He was killed in the movie by the Alpha, but he kind of told Spike about the real world and how there was delivery drivers, and he showed him a phone, which he didn't know what a phone was. I thought that was kind of interesting. They tried to parallel the modern day world with the zombie universe. That these people in Old English wouldn't know what they're talking about. But yeah, that is kind of cool. I like the alphas. Thought the idea of the alphas were fascinating, and that they're mating, they're breeding, and having more, not necessarily zombie kids, but they're, I guess, living infected, if you will. But yeah, really cool to cover that lore. What do you guys think of all the stuff happening with that? Be sure to drop a like, comment down below what your thoughts are. Have you seen the movie yet? Are you going to watch the movie? Let me know. Till next time, guys, this is me signing off. Have a good one. Bye-bye.